Hey there.
Hi, Jerome. Hi, everyone.
Great to see you, Camille.
Yes, nice to see you too.
Great to see you. Great to be seen. And let me make sure that I'm pronouncing your name correctly. It's Camille?
Yeah, sure, sure. Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. And you're in a place that I have never met anyone from. I've never been there as well. Where can you tell us where are you in the world?
I- I'm living in Moria, like a little island next to Tahiti in French Polynesia.
French Polynesia.
Yeah.
French Polynesia. I've never been there, and this is the first time that I'm meeting someone that's there. So that's a very interesting place, like a very interesting location in the world. And I'd just love to hear more about your story. What brought you there?
Oh, oh, like it's it was really like a call from my soul, and before to go there, I had no idea how it would look like. Um, like so arriving here, I starting to juice and fast. But before to come, I didn't like coconut. I didn't like tropical fruits. I didn't really like summer. But I just follow my heart. I guess, and without thinking much. And it was beginning of COVID, so the world was going crazy. So I guess, I was feeling I need to leave my big city and go to a calm place. And yeah, it was really a blessing, really.
Yeah, I remember during that time, there was so many things going on at once and just so much in the news, in the media, and people were going, they were going crazy. It was a lot of panic, a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of stress in the air. And where are you actually from originally, Camille?
So I'm French, but at that time I was living in Berlin, Germany,
Okay.
for since few years. Yeah, I like to move around, and yeah,
You're a world traveler. You're a
exactly.
world traveler. They,
Yes.
they, they call it a globe trotter. You're a globe trotter. You trot the globe, you blaze the trail, you set the pace. It's amazing, just to see someone so free. It seems like you always been so nomadic?
Yeah, not really, before I was studying, but yeah, I think it's gonna keep going like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long were you in Germany before, I was born in Germany. I was born in Stuttgart,
Oh,
but I was, below 1 years old before we moved to the States. But how long were you in Germany before you moved towards French Polynesia?
for I was there since 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And during that time, when you were shifting, when you were transitioning away, what do you feel like for yourself? What told you that it was time to go? You know?
Uh, well, actually, my first fasting. So at that time, yeah, I knew about Prana, but it was really like a fast. Like this difference of, it was like um, yeah, I was going with a group for 1 week, and we were doing energetic work on ourselves, on the place we visit. And I have asked, as an intention for this fast, to know. I knew I have to move, but I didn't know where. So I have asked this question, and starting to fast. And like the day after, a friend of mine called me and he said, oh yeah, you want to go in French Polynesia, go for it, go for it. Nothing hold you here. So yeah,
Yeah.
out of the blue. And I just went, like, few months later, not straight away, but
Right. Right. Still very spontaneous. I like how you just kind of just took your things and just left. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, well, I have all what I need, but I don't have much, and sometimes it's a blessing.
Absolutely.
Less is more. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're learning a lot about how less can be more and how, you know, simplicity can bring more synchronicity when we embrace that simplicity. So when you're talking about this group that you were with, Camille, doing energy work with this group, what sort of energy work were you doing with this group? What kind of group was this?
So it was a couple of French people. Yeah, they do energy healing with like the stick, you know, two stick like you can use for geobiology also as well, and so it's just like to heal your soul, you know. And when you're fasting, you know, you're more sensitive and many things pop up, you know,
Right.
that you don't suppress anymore. So yeah, sometimes you have difficult things popping up, or you don't really remember what's happening, but you feel something is strange, you know. So
Right.
it's a great time to heal really, and to support your fasting to make it slower, you know, or softer. Sorry.
Mm.
Yeah.
Softer, softer. So to ease it a little bit, to make it less drastic.
Yeah. You know.
Okay. Because when you were talking about challenging things bubbling up to the surface, you know, challenging things coming up, what were some of the most challenging things that came up for you when you started letting go and started fasting?
Uh, so this first time, after I didn't had this anymore, but this first time I had like literally like picture of food, like super junk food, like going into my mind, you know, like non-stop, you know. It was really some part of my ego or whatever, like really holding, you know, fighting back. Like hopefully I was with a strong group, like so I was, you know, putting my focus somewhere else. But it was so strange, you know, like I was not eating like pizza or stuff like this since few years already.
Hmm.
I had started to change my diet, but wow, like yeah, it was almost like yeah, really invasive, you know. So
Okay.
yeah,
Invasive. So you're saying like the thoughts, like the mental pictures of just food itself, like pizza perception?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's crazy. But an interesting thing is, at that time I was still smoking cigarettes,
Mhm.
and I just totally forgot about cigarette because I was so focused on food, you know. Then I quit cigarette.
What?
Like yeah,
Wait,
like in without thinking about it anymore, you know. So
hold on.
you
Wait,
know,
wait,
like
wait. Wait, so you immediately wait, how long had you been on how long had you been hooked smoking? Like how long had you had that
for
history?
10 years,
10
really.
years? A
Yeah,
whole decade, and you said you just immediately quit?
yeah, yeah. You know, the first day of the fast, I was like, oh my god, you know, if I smoke and I'm fasting, it's weird, you know, for my body. And then I just, you know, give it. It was so easy, incredible, because I was so obsessed with my food addiction that I forgot smoke. That was like, I guess, you know, another addiction, but not deep rooted as food is, you know.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah, like I wish anybody can do this also maybe sometime, you know.
Hmm.
Uh,
This is fascinating. This is fascinating, Camille. So you're talking about like you're saying the fixation on food was so deeply rooted that
yeah,
it was more deeply rooted than smoking. So smoking just kind of fell away. It just kind
yeah,
of it just left you because the focus was on the food.
exactly. Yeah.
Wow. After a decade, after 10 years.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm really grateful for it, you know.
That
And
is
yeah, and the funny thing is today, so I had, you know, quite some long pranic experience, as I told you, but right now I'm eating again solid food.
Mhm.
Uh, but I can see it's like smoking, you know. It's like I can see myself and, you know, how it affects my body, like not in a really good way, you know. I can really feel like the different vibration of the food when if I eat like cooked food or raw food, you know.
Mhm.
And I I really see like I'm eating from the same place of smoking. It's really interesting. So I'm
Okay.
really, yeah. So let's see how it's gonna be the next step to stop this, you know?
Okay. Because, you know, a lot of people, when they think about, you know, smoking, when they think about nicotine or vaping or, you know, the addiction or the restriction or the confliction with smoking, they don't always draw comparisons, connections, and correlations to consumption, like to food.
Yeah.
You know, they don't always see food on the same level as a cigarette when they think of food. So, what would you say are some of the biggest comparisons since, you know, you battled with, you know, nicotine or smoking, whatever you were smoking for 10 years? What were the biggest comparisons that you saw that food correlated?
Um, well, you know, I see I'm telling me the same excuse. It's like, oh, I will stop when I will feel better. But, you know, we always like go through things in life. So it's not really an excuse, you know, like, um, and yeah, it's really an emotional support for me. I really see this, you know, it's my body don't eat food. It's really easy to experience this, you know, like when I go hiking, if I have eaten before, it's difficult and I'm heavy. And if I'm in the forest, you know, with the good energy of the earth, and I haven't eat from the day, it's just so much nicer, you know. I can really feel more connected,
Okay.
and yeah, so yeah, food is really an emotional support, but not a really good one, you know. Or it's how we learn, you know. We have grow up like this, so yeah. So yeah, for me, yeah, fasting is interesting. Like everybody should try it at least to experience this facing his emotion, you know,
Mhm.
and trying to deal with it. So you know, yeah, because we think we are aware, but we are not that much aware, maybe.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. What was an area that you felt like you became a lot more aware of, you know, when you started getting lighter, when things started getting brighter? What was a form of enlightenment or a big realization for you that you never would have saw before?
Wow, it's a big question. Yeah, it's just like a big clarity, you know, like you can just see everything and feel everything from other people.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that sensitivity, that level of sensitivity with you and another person was a lot more heightened.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. So you could connect more on that level with other people?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I noticed the same thing, Camille. You know, it's taken me down memory lane. Like there were times where I could just be silent, you know, in a conversation and just really, you know, absorb somebody's presence, just be with them and just really sit right there with them and be content to just be with them and not have to, you know, do anything, be anything, go anywhere, not have to really just do a whole lot, but I could be there with that person and people could feel that. People could really feel your energy. They could really feel like you were connected to yourself on another level, you were connected to them on another level, and people were really like emptying themselves. They were opening themselves to me in amazing ways, you know? So it was really blowing me away the amount of sensitivity that I had never felt before. Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, could you talk, Camille, about this? There was a French lady or some lady that you did a program with, or maybe, you know, your process. Can you talk about your process with this French woman?
Yeah. So she's named Alice Briand. Maybe you can find some video of her on the Pranic World Festival.
Okay.
And so now she just stopped the program, unfortunately. But so it was a 21-day online program. You can go anytime, and she just have recorded some video for every day, you know. You have one video every day and one meditation that she called the Pranic lunch. It's really funny. Yeah, she had this invented this thing of, so you have the Pranic lunch, which is like a pranayama basically. And every week we will do like a Zoom together to share and exchange. And she set up like Sunday noon, so you know everybody might be free. So also like just have kind of not a joke, but she called it like the Pranic meal, because normally you are in family eating, and we were just meeting with the Pranic family and just talking, you know.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was the Pranic lunch Zoom.
Awesome. So it was the chronic lunch, but instead of feeding, instead of eating, you were just meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
because you know, like meeting, like eating food is just an excuse to meet your friend or your family, you know. Also, especially in France, you know, like for us, like eating is like a big cultural thing, and it's really bad to not share food with your friends, your roommate, your family, you know.
Can you talk about that? Can you talk about that, like culture wise in France? Because I haven't spent a whole lot of time in France. I was in Nice, just for a couple moments. Me and my friend, we went there from Italy, and then I went back to Italy from Nice. But culturally, can you talk about what is it like in France when it comes to food that's different?
Yeah, it's, I don't know, like it's like yeah, people get really offended, you know, if you say no to a meal, or if you don't have the same diet as well. Um, it's really hard for them. They really, yeah, you know, they really see it like you don't take part of the exchange.
Okay.
And yeah, we don't, I find in America there is a good freedom about it, you
Mm,
know. Like everybody feel free to eat when he's hungry, you know, and not because it's time to eat.
mhm.
And yeah, you can, yeah.
Okay. So in places like that, it's almost like a disrespect. If you refuse food, if you don't eat with someone, they
Yeah,
feel offended.
yeah. So there is like one more challenge, you know, like social challenge to say, yeah, sorry, I'm just not eating, or yeah. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
How did you get around that? How did you deal with that when there were maybe friends or family or any loved ones, anyone around you in your circle when you came out of these chronic states, when there were times when you were around others and they're eating and you're not eating, what were some of the things that you would do?
So I get the chance, kind of the chance, you know. So I had, before starting all this, I had already some health issue, like with gluten and dairy, you know. So already because of that, I had to eat a bit differently, you know. And so I was used to impose that, you know, and people will get really upset, but you know, it's like, yeah, sorry, you know, I'm not gonna change it. So yeah, at some point you just have to choose yourself first. But it's difficult because people, they don't understand. They just don't understand, you know. Like they think they know what is good or bad for you, you know. Um, yeah, yeah. But so when I was not eating at all, sitting to a table, yeah, it was easy for me, you know, like I was not craving so much. It was okay. Like maybe I drink more, you know, water or whatever. But yeah, at some point, so people ask questions. I always try to not go too much into like arguments, to not, yeah, to not lose too much energy. But maybe I should, you know, maybe sometimes be a bit more challenging. But Yeah, and so my good friends, if your friends really like you, they just get it at some point, and they get used to it, obviously.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in the end, they get inspired, when they look at their dish and say, "Oh yeah, maybe I should at least stop meat or something." I never say something, but they just think it themselves.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
I think it's a really good, we have to show ourselves, and it's inspiring people really.
Yeah. Just you
Yeah,
living by example. Yeah.
yeah,
You know, you just embodying your truth, living your
yeah,
truth, shining in your truth, just living by example. That's already inspiring. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And especially, people see you healthy, see you peaceful and shining, and so yeah,
You,
they cannot say anything for sure.
right. Right. I have found that people, they come to their own awareness, their own realization, and they start to ask questions when I'm not passing judgment on them, you know, when I'm not
Exactly.
judging, like if I'm not judging them for their lifestyle, then they don't judge me for mine. And then slowly they kind of come around and say like, how are you doing that? Can you teach me about this? Can you tell me about that? But it doesn't come from a place of like preaching, but you can be reaching if you're not always preaching. So I
Mm,
found that to be the case with myself as well. When you're just living by example, you're not worried about whether they do it or don't, whether they will or they won't, but it's nice to have it that way. It's very organic. It's a lot more organic. Yeah, it's not forced. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Camille, this French lady that you were with doing this program, the 21 days, was she was already like living in a pranic way, or was she living, how was she living when she was guiding you?
Yeah, she was only drinking liquid, not so much, but a little bit of liquid
Yeah.
since few years already.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, and yeah, she was living alone with some dogs in nature and being really invested of just sharing time with us. Really, yeah.
Hmm. And how did you even find out about, this lady and find out about her program? How did you find out?
Like really a coincidence on YouTube, on my YouTube like page, and yeah, it's really catch my attention, and yeah, I can't really remember the first time I watched it, but I really remember I had no doubt of this being possible, really not.
No doubt.
Yeah, I don't know why, for some reason,
Yeah. You just
but
believed. You just
yeah,
believed that it was possible.
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I have learned to feel the truth from my heart. You can feel if somebody is lying or not.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was trusting her and some other people, but I was listening to.
Beautiful.
Um, then to apply it for myself, it was really more, it was challenging and scary at the beginning. My first thought was like, oh yeah, I believe this, but I cannot do this, myself,
Okay.
because it was feeling like a huge thing, but yeah, like,
Okay.
I think if you set up your intention because you're called, like really the universe help you, like from everywhere to support you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's incredible.
I
Yeah,
believe that. I believe that, Camille. When you have that intention, when you have that vision, and you just kind of, that's the law of attraction, right? But half of attraction is action, so you have to take action, towards it, and then it comes towards you.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I do believe that too. But things get moved around for sure. The universe, it conspires to assist us. That I learned that from a book I read years ago. It was called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. You ever heard of that book, The Alchemist?
yeah. I can't really remember, but I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just talking about, how the universe conspires to assist us in like mysterious and magical ways, you know, very mystical ways, like things just kind of orchestrate themselves and just come into being, you know, when you're seeing that way.
Yeah.
So what would you say were some of the challenging aspects? Like, what were the 21 days like? Were you fasting throughout the whole 21 days? Was there juicing periods? Was there dry periods? Like, what was it like?
So for the first one, I did so 19 days juicing
Hmm.
and 3 day fast, dry fast, sorry,
Okay.
dry to finish. And after that, I was really about to keep going,
Mhm.
but I decided to go out to meet somebody. And so in French Polynesia, it can be really sunny, really hot, you know.
Mhm.
So I was dry since 3 days, and I did just like cross the sea like with a little boat, you know, for 1 hour under the sun, super strong. And then I was feeling exhausted, so I just started to drink coconut again, you know. Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, it was juicing, and it was enough for the first one. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And what did you feel like after 19 days, no solid food for 19 days and then 3 day dry? So what was your feeling at that point when it comes to, you know, breaking that wave of, or even breaking the beliefs that you might have had before? Because was that the longest period you went without solid food, 19?
No, after I did a few more weeks than this. I can't really remember, but so um, what's your question? Sorry.
Yeah. So, you know, what was your awareness like after those periods? You know, when you went so long without solid food, what did you feel that you hadn't felt before? What was your mind thinking that you hadn't thought before? You know, what was your reality like? Like, how had it changed? You know?
Well, I was really, really happy, you know,
Okay.
and such a good mood. Never anymore like in the fog, you know. Uh, it was never difficult to wake up, you know, and start my day. A bit less sleep, but still sleeping. Um, yeah, I was so happy, you know, and I wanted more connection with other people also for some reason. Uh, just to share, you know. And yeah, sometimes maybe I don't know if you had this sometime, but I just can feel like super strong wave of self-love, you know, like I don't know, a feeling of, you know, my body or my soul, I don't know, just loving myself so much. It's something really I cannot explain, you know. It's really more intense than somebody loving you, you know. It's yeah, it's really beautiful.
And it's with yourself, you know?
Yes, yes. Mm,
That's amazing. It's like you almost can't put it into
yeah,
words, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really a bliss, really a bliss.
Wow, wow. And you know, feeling these things because when you were also in this program, you said that you also did certain meditations or energetic practices. What was some of the meditations that you did with the French woman?
So, I mean, it was a easy pranayama. It was 21 minutes of so you breathe in by your nose and you visualize that you breathe the whole universe feeding you, and you breathe out into your body, like really visualizing that you feed like every one of your cell, like, you know, with this prana. And you visualize yourself like a tree, you know, with the roots of the lungs. And yeah, it's something she learned with an Indian guru.
Mm.
um, like who also like share this. So it's called Nira Ara in
Okay.
the Hindu practices.
Nira Ara. Okay.
Yes, yes,
Beautiful. That sounds like such a powerful visualization, you
yeah,
know? Just the visualization of like prana coming into the vessel, you know, roots of a tree going down and just being nourished and just being replenished and just being restored and reborn. That's like a rebirth,
yeah.
you know?
Mm.
Beautiful, beautiful. And like, would you say that that was very important for you at the time to have visualization like that?
So I think we are all different, but from my experience, I did more physical work.
Okay.
I really find out that, like you just get energy if you start to move, and it's like a virtuous circle. The more you move, the more you have energy.
Right.
And sometimes when you fast, you feel, oh, okay, I should rest and be careful. But then you get tired and you lose muscle. But if you keep moving, you are great. And since that time, I'm doing a lot of yoga now.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, thank you for that. That's great advice, actually, you know, for people going through fast or going through a period where they feel weakened or they feel like they want to withdraw. Like, you know, sometimes, of course, you know, we can listen to the body and rest when it needs to rest, but then there's also that feeling of creating energy like a gyro or, you know,
Yeah.
moving. And through that movement, you can find more improvement with movement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like I remember this first week of fasting I told you about before. Sometimes we were going for a hike, and I was always saying, "Oh my God, no! I'm so tired. I cannot." And I was pushing myself to go with the other guys, and finally, I was always like the first one in front of everybody, and feeling that it's not enough walking finally. But every time it was the same cinema in my mind, like, oh no, 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 I'm tired. But it's really strange, huh? Like I was really convinced that I'm tired, but once I go with other people, I'm great,
You just
you know?
had the energy comes. Like, where does the energy come from?
Yeah, well, I really, for me, I really feel it come from the ground and from the tree, nature.
Yeah.
I also know you can you can also like be in a city or in a closed room and get energy also, but you can get prana from outside, I
Absolutely.
guess.
Definitely. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if you know about that. Maybe there is different level of prana. You can get prana from the sun, from the air, but if you go to a dark room, you have also prana, normally. But yeah, from my experience, it's more difficult to reach. But maybe it's another belief, I guess.
There's so many beliefs that, you know, we're like, you know, making and breaking and creating and shaping and picking up and taking and then, you know, letting go and flaking. It's like we're shaking like so many different beliefs, right?
Yeah,
And, you know, a few of them for me over the years, back when I was like not majorly bodybuilding, but I was boxing. I was in the gym a lot. You know, I was doing a lot of cardio and I was, you know, drinking whey protein and you know, these protein shakes and all sorts of stuff that I thought was important and vitamins and minerals and, you know, nutrients and all of that stuff was important for me before I started going long days without, you know. And when I started going long days without anything, it started to slowly just break down. All of those beliefs just started to fall away and break down. And I started to question everything. Camille, I questioned everything. Like, Jerome, what do you actually know? You know, what is actually true? What is actually real? And it was just leading me down a rabbit hole. I felt like Alice in Wonderland. You know, I was just going down the rabbit hole, just going further and further. So, you know, for you, I remember you said that at one point you even did a 10-day dry fast. Can you talk about that?
yeah. So, um, yeah, this was like really, really deep also. But for that one, I was more still, like, yeah, I think really like I get some, some step to pass, in this journey. And so juicing, I can keep the same weight really easily, but dry fasting, I'm getting a bit skinnier, but it's still okay, like I'm fine. But my body gets slower, really. Um, but yeah, like the inside journey is really nice. It's really like a spiritual retreat, I find.
Okay. So
And what I like is, if I'm justing, I'm still spending quite some time in the kitchen, and I still think, like buying fruit, cleaning the tools to juice, and I feel like, it's still like keep me like attached, like to some ritual that finally you kind of have to do, You're not really free, and if you are dry fasting, you're really free, when you have really nothing to do,
right.
like it's total freedom.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
did you do nothing during that 10 days where you had no food and water for 10 days? Were you just kind of stationary, just sedentary, or did you do activities? Did you read? Did you meditate? Did you listen to music? Did you dance? Like what were some of the things that you did?
Yeah. So yeah, I was reading, listening podcast of inspiring thing, listening music. So sometimes a little bit going to the sea, but slowly, nothing crazy. Um, yeah, but yeah, it was really easy to to not do much. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you say it was really easy, Camille, I'm sure you can, understand and empathize that there are people, many people that they would go crazy,
Yeah.
you know, they would
Mm.
they would absolutely lose their minds, even if they couldn't eat for one day or even 2 days, let alone 10 days in a row, not eating, not drinking, they would lose their minds, So, like when you were saying that you were doing, you were going to the beach, you were reading, you were listening to music. What do you feel really carried you through that period? Was it the mind? Because I'm sure that there were periods of time that maybe dragged on a lot longer, Like it wasn't just like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes it's yeah. I could like miss company sometime because I could meet some friends, but I have experience, but you have to be careful because if they, for example, you meet a friend who just have drink alcohol, it's really a different energy, and I couldn't stand it, in my state. So yeah, it's in the same time you want to be with people, and at the same time, yeah, I don't know, it's a balance to play.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes I could also, just go for a nap
Yeah.
if I, yeah,
You just let it flow. Yeah.
yeah, you know.
It's a balance. It's a balance for sure. What do you feel like this journey has taught you most about, the mind, and has taught you most about just us as human beings, just the human potential, the capabilities that we have, the possibilities, like what has it taught you about us as human beings?
Yeah, I really think, we are unlimited, and and we can, yeah, we are really God, God is the flesh, like, yeah,
You said God in the flesh?
yeah.
And when you say God, it doesn't sound like you're using it in a religious type of way. It sounds more of like a different way. What do you mean when you say we are all God in the flesh?
It's like, I'm, yeah, I mean, we don't need food, we don't need anything, like we are already like superhero, we
Yeah.
just have to find a way back to this because, you know, we have our memory who says the contrary, but we have to, yeah, um, yeah, I think we can really, all being telepathic and all being like free of food and free of solid food and yeah, I mean, I can't even know, but
Right.
we are so powerful and we have so much capacity.
I believe it. I believe it. I receive it, and it's interesting. I love hearing you say this because I love hearing people's different perspectives. Everyone has a different perspective in the collective, when it comes to this consciousness. And you use the words, Camille, you said, we can come back, like we can remember, we can find our way back to this state. So do you feel like it's something that we somehow forgot?
Yeah, sure, yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what happened, in humanity history, but this thing on the Bible, I'm not a Christian, but this thing on the Bible, like they say Adam and Eve were to the paradise and they eat something, and after it was not paradise anymore. That's really like a story who still question me. It's like, okay, when you eat and then you're not in paradise anymore. And I really felt, when I stop eating, I'm going back to paradise, really. So, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So going back to paradise, now you're living in paradise. And, it's so inspirational. It's so inspiring. I love this because, if somebody's listening to you right now, Camille, and they're asking themselves, they're really questioning things and they're really curious. Like they were listening to you and then you said something that triggered them a little bit. And now they're wondering, like, wait a minute, is this possible? Could I actually let this go? Like, what advice would you give for them to, maybe step by step, like go slowly, or what would you tell somebody who wants to adopt that way of thinking, you know?
Yeah, I would recommend, just to keep listening people like you. It's really important to like bring other story to your mind, to feed yourself with different point of view, and then you have to experience. You have to make your own experience, and to be aware that maybe sometimes there is difficulty because like we come from far away. um, and uh, yeah.
Yeah. We do, I feel you. I feel, I feel you, it's something you said as well about, telepathy, superpowers, like different things that start to open up and they start to let you know that we are more than meets the eye. We're a lot more than we think we are. We're a lot more than we even know we are, that. So what do you see for yourself for the future? Like in the horizon, what do you see for the future, Camille? Even though you're here in the present, what would you foresee? What's your vision of yourself as time goes on?
I really want to embody freedom, like to be free, free of society construction, free of my own belief, free of my emotion, and yeah, um, like yes, being on prana is really being free of, we say in French we say to have like a job for food. So if you don't eat, you don't have to have a job anymore, maybe. For example, and then you have just more time for your patient, you know.
More time.
Yeah, more time, and yeah, being free.
Wow. So freedom on all levels, like across the
Exactly.
board, just freedom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Ellie Tom used to say that as well. You know Ellie Tom.
yeah.
He would say that, at different retreats, he was like, he said, I quit my job when I learned I didn't have to eat. You
Oh,
know,
yeah, really. Yeah,
that's when he quit his job. He was like, he said, they called him into work. They said, we need you to come in. And he was like, nah, nah. And they were like, no, no, we need you to come and do something. He was like, nah, you know, he was like, I got to go practice Wu Wei. I
yeah,
got to go practice meditation. I got to go practice. They were like, no, we need you. He was like, nah. So it broke him away from, certain societal things that had held him for so long, that, the necessity of just being in the cycle of, working to get the money to buy the food, to have the energy to go back to work, to have the money to buy the food, to have the energy to go back to work, to have the money to buy the food, to have the energy to go back to work. That cycle, once that cycle was shattered, it was like he was free. He was free. And then I read in Jasmine, Jasmine book, she talks about freedom from all hunger. She talks about like emotional hunger, mental hunger, even spiritual hunger,
absolutely. Yeah,
physical hunger, like all of that hunger, just freedom. And just to think about that is mind blowing, you know? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So you've experienced that. That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow, wow. So thank you so much. Just thank you for your testimony today. I know it was spur of the moment, but thank you for even reaching out, like connecting, bridging this and just making this happen. Like, yeah, thank you for your courage, and sharing your story.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to you. Like, I'm really, really glad, to share this. And it's really giving me a lot of energy right now.
Like,
Yeah.
likewise. And I trust that this won't be the last time we hear from you. I trust that, your voice will be heard a lot more. I know on your page, there's a lot of art. There's a
Yeah.
lot of art on your page, like paintings. It's very, artistic. It's very colorful, very beautiful. But
Thank you.
I've never heard you speak on your page. I've never seen a video. So this is awesome. Is this your first live, Camille?
Yes, it is.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yes, thank you.
Congrats. Congrats. Oh my gosh. Your first time. You're a natural. You did it. You did
Yes.
it. Yeah. So, yeah, I hope this won't be the last time. And yeah, can you just talk real quick? Can you just tell us a little bit about your art, your passion? Because it seems like something you're very passionate about.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So I'm doing abstract art with oil painting, and yeah, I really try. It's inspired from nature and organic shapes, but it's really some kind of meditation. I put a song like in loop, and like keep like with the same song for like all the kind on the painting process. And yeah, I start from sacred geometry
Mhm.
uh, pattern, and then I just paint on it, and with many layer, and I just really try to to connect to my highest frequency, and just to share some kind of just like a breath,
Yeah.
or like an inspiration. I just want to people to smile when they see my art. um, and that's it.
It does. It does give that feeling. It's beautiful. It's like you're painting, like that's an energy transmission. You know.
Yeah. Thank you for seeing this. Mm.
Beautiful, beautiful. Is that one of the gifts that you feel like is it a gift more for you, or do you feel like you're giving it to the world?
Yeah, I want my art to be at people place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you see it in like museums, you see it in different places, you see it in different. homes, different houses, or like where do you see it?
Yeah. Um, Everywhere, you know. I mean, I don't have any, you know, it's just gonna go where it needs to be.
There it is. There it is. That's the best answer. That's the best answer. It'll just go where it needs to be, you know? And that's what you've been doing, you know? You've been going where you need to be, wherever you need to be. You follow your intuition, follow your inner vision, your inner guidance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so vibrant. So vibrant. So beautiful, Camille. Thank you so much and
Thank you
blessing.
to you.
Yeah, till the next time. How do we say in French? How do we say what is it? Au revoir? Au revoir?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Adieu?
Au revoir.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Much love. Much love. Bye bye.
Bye.